Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the BJ Show Footy Show. I'm your host BJ. Let's get it on for another week of footy. Welcome all. If you are new, welcome aboard. Make sure this is the YouTube channel as well as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Give this a following as well. Make sure you get that a nice like and subscribe down below. We are here for today. We are got an extra part of the show. We'll be doing the BJ Show Footy Show. Well, Footy Tipping Comp. Yes, we are. We are going to be doing that very, very soon, including this episode. We're also going to be doing all my round 9, reviews, and then we get into my predictions of round 10. We are almost on the halfway mark, and we're almost close to 1 week of the buys for the 2026 AFL Premiership season. So, without in doubt, if you know, you're regular, you know exactly what's happening. I'll be going through all my round 9 as well, my top 5 best players. I've been doing that for the last few weeks as well, going who I think should win and how much. So, out and out, let's get on the way. So, round 9 previews, and I'm going to be showing my footy tipping, how we're all going. Oh my goodness, not a great week for me, but stay tuned for that. All right, let's get to game number 1 between Okie dokie, Fremantle and Hawthorn. Well done to the Fremantle Dockers, defeating a very nice, easy victory, but a challenging as well. Defeated the Hawthorn Hawks. Final score 12 goals, 16-88, 11-7-73. Now, I'm going to say right now, I cannot believe this could be anyone, but Fremantle just one step better. They started pretty even in their Hawthorn being Hawthorn. They started and replied, and Fremantle just find a way, and they kicked 6 goals, 8-2. The same scoreline as not as much for Hawthorn, 4 goals, 2. They won the second half by a lot more. They actually won, so it was very much, it was Hawthorn basically did saying like Fremantle, but Fremantle won 6 goals and 6 goals, and it was 9 goals to 11 goals equals 4 goals second half for Hawthorn. Now we're going to go into 10 sacks. Now, the disposal rate, pretty even, not even 360, pretty good effort. 351 Hawthorn, 329. So overall, that's a pretty even standard day. So free kicks, 34 free kicks overall, 17 apiece. Hawthorn won the hit-outs, but Fremantle won the footy, the clearances. So that's a very quite comfortably as well. Like contested possession, Hawthorn, that's pretty even over all turnovers. Fremantle won a bit more into the time officially. That Hawthorn had more over to Fremantle. You have more ties, but 58-42 Fremantle tackled. And they get into 50s as well. That's really the standing out. Now, before I'm flying into my play of the games, really, like Hawthorn knew, last week's results, same with Fremantle. Big winners there. The Dogs were going to come back after that loss against Sydney, and Fremantle with the nice hungry victory over Carlton night. 7 margins day 1. So with Hawthorn, a draw at the MCG and then get the feed over in Fremantle. It's a good effort. But Hawthorn had to work hard. They started out of Blues Collingwood, and Hawthorn just really did came hard. So compared to this, Hawthorn did came out in that second quarter, but it wasn't enough. And we knew that. So I've got to say, pretty good effort. So the players of the 10s were very one step closer of who we versing who next week. We'll do that now, and then my top 5 for each Fremantle, then Hawthorn. The first team is Fremantle. Now, back in Melbourne, MCG against Essendon. Now, you can't let, Essendon gave it all. We'll share that very soon, but we'll find out very soon in big ways. Back to Melbourne, like I said, and it'll be Sunday afternoon football. They'll have a bit of more better brief. And with Hawthorn No, it will be nice to be back at the MCG as well Saturday night against Melbourne Demons. So I got to say right now, I think two winners, Hawthorn will bounce back, and they will bounce back in lots of ways. So that's what I'm going to say was that the player of the game for this game, starting with Fremantle Dockers. Now, it's always hard to be best on grounds. I'm going to give my 5 players and then I'll share my reviews of the stats and why that player. So Luke Jackson, Cullen Strong. We have Josh Tracy, but yeah. Andrew Bradshaw, that's 3. That's 4 players, and not looking in a big way of this. And I'm going to get it to. Oh, it's always hard to pick a player, and you may not get a lot of the footy, and it's always hard to pick. And Michael Rick, but I can't go past Luke Jackson. He's my player of the game. 22 disposals. Now, not only even that goal would be a bonus, but great, that's okay. 4 bucks, 10 tackles, 128 AFL intensity. He also includes 9 score involvement, 250 metres game, 20 centre bounce attendance when 7 clearances. We have 62 ruck contests from 22 hit-out. Well done to Luke Jackson on your game. Best on ground for the Fremantle Dockers. The Nets I'm going to share. It's Hawthorn's top 5. Kale Amon, Josh Battle, Jack Gunston. They are my top 3. Coming in the next one. I'm going to give it to Jay Nukomi. That's my 4th best. But you can't go past who can hit 12 marks in the game. Josh Battle. But I cannot go past a really tough at the office. It's one of the hardest decisions I cannot go past. And I'm going to give it to, let's just give it to Jack Gunston. 100 for fantasy from 6 goals, 2 behind. 1 tackle, 9 marks, 11 disposals. He was all in forward line, 8 score involvements. 321 metres game. His act percent was very low on 5. 112.25 on game. That's it. Well done, Jack Gunston and Luke Jackson from Fremantle are my player of the game. Alright, time to fly in to Double Friday night. We're going to the Gather and the Adelaide Oval. Let's find out who it is right now. Okie dokie, we are here, my goodness. Friday double header. As I mentioned, not a fan of it. Not a fan of Double Friday. I love Saturday. You can have 2 options. You go, sometimes you have to work the next day, and yes, it is the weekend, but that's life. But we are at the Gather and Adelaide Oval. First game is Brisbane hosting Carlton, followed by Port Adelaide and Brisbane. Port Adelaide and Western Bulldogs. So we are now going to intro this into the Brisbane Lions and the Carlton Blues. Well, what an entertainment sports this will be. Alright, let's go there now. Alright, Friday night footy at the Gather. We got the Brisbane Rain Princes continuing on their great form. They're taking on the Carlton Blues. Efforts from Carlton. Really a big effort. 11 points defeat. It's a better than games defeat by 50 over the Rain Princes of Brisbane Lions. The final score is 14 goals, 16 100 and the 13 11 89. Overall, it was 1.5. That is the difference. And I tell you right now, I think Brisbane really fought while Carlton came to play. Carlton ready to play. Now, let's just look at the timeline overall. The stat, what I'm going to share. The Carlton looked flat. They were 38 points down at half time. They were down, Carlton. Yep, no problems. Then something changed. Carlton kicked 6 goals to 3. That's it. Now, the only big difference is if Carlton kicked straight up, they're more likely to be more in the game. And again, Carlton kicked 11 goals, 5 compared to 6 goals, 8. Carlton won the second half. I doubt how much credit I'm going to give them. Here is the stat to prove. They won in disposables. Then we come down to the clearances. Hit out, that was going to happen. They're struggling with them. a really domination of a ruckman, but Brisbane unfortunately were too good in the clearances, which a good team does. I'm going to give it to efforts. Marking was 99.95, pretty even there, but more inside 50s for Carlton 10 plus and 7 plus contested possession mark or concession mark. All time forward half was all Brisbane, as well as the biggest one, it's tackles. I think I'm going to give a lot of effort. 50 tackles, 38. Carlton are not great in tackling pressure, but they gave in it all. They only lose by 11 points. And wow. So the overall of this game, I'm going to say, is Carlton did came in the second half. And I don't think Brisbane really expect they had to change that game plan to make sure they hold on a big win. More goals than points. Oh my goodness, that's 2 games that's happened this round. And we had the Thursday night football 312 goal sting compared to 14-16. 2 goals apart plus overall from the Brisbane Lions. And great accuracy from Carlton, more goals than points compared to Hawthorn. 11-7. That equals 2. Versus equals to 2 goals, 4. 16 points apart. There we go. So Holden Desi can score, and they can score well, but they have to find a way to be smart. And I knew they're going to come out after some big, heavy losses. They're going to do well. All right, enough is enough. Let's get my player of the game for this game between the Mighty Brisbane Lions and the Blues. First up, Brisbane Lions. Lockie Neal, we have Ryan Lester, we have Josh Dunkley. Coming into the next one was Logan Morris is my third. We have Levi Ashcroft, my fourth best. Now, who dominate in the hit-out? Can we see a better performance from the Brisbane Lions to why they were really good in the hit-out? I'm going to give it to Sam Draker. So overall, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more domination. Now, it's always hard to give another player can show that can do that craft. And I'm going to give it to, let's wrap it into Stu McClinkage as well. The player of the game for this one can definitely dominate is Josh Dunkley. From 5 marks, 9 tackles, 20 disposals, 101A for density, 350-50 more percent into defence and then forward. He'll also include free score involvement, 321 metres game, 21 centre bounce attendance, 3 clearances as I mentioned, and 101 overall with 19 of time on ground. There's 37 with pressure act, which is very, very high. Well done, Josh Dunkley. Been my best on ground. We come to the Blues. There's been some tough ones, but Harry Mackay played really well. The Will Haywood played his best game for the season for the Blues. Patrick Quick back in action. Sam Walsh. And I'm going to give it to, really hard to pick a best on ground. I'm going to give it to Jacob Smith. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And can't not give someone a massive effort. And that's Ben Unsworth as well. If I've got that word correct, I do. But it's going to be a tough one at the office. And he should be my best on ground. He's the captain for the Blues. He was in my mix of being the domination. But you can't go from the midfield. Be a former Swan. Go to the Blues. It's Will Haywood from the Blues, my best on ground. 10 marks, 2 tackles, and 3.2. With 178 for density, 22 disposals, when 78% at the forward line, and 22% in the defence line. 9 score involvement with 105.07, with a 14 at overall, with a 347 metres game. Well done to Will Haywood from Blues. We now go to the Adelaide Oval between Port Adelaide and Western Bulldogs. Let's go there right now. Okie dokie. So Carlton will host Geelong on Thursday night, and the Western Bulldogs will play Carlton Blues next game. All right. Let's go to the next game between Port Adelaide hosting the Western Bulldogs. And my thoughts, I think this is going to be the game of the round. Let's get in now. All right. Friday night. Well, I may not be sharing the crowd's attendance, but I'm going to be doing that very, very soon overall for each game. after my round 9 thoughts and reviews. Port Adelaide versus Western Bulldogs. And boy, I'm saying this is the game of the round. There's no way that the Western Bulldogs missing their key players for this game. They have ways to come to Adelaide. At the Adelaide Oval, they done it against the Crows by 6. They did it a very similar margin, same scoreline. Now against Port Adelaide. The Dogs go woof woof to the Adelaide Oval double header. Enter 10-14-74 defeated 10 to 72. Exactly 2 behinds, 2 points overall. And boy, I can't wait to share the stack in just a moment. The Dogs came out. They find ways. They kicked 9 goals, half to 6 goals for 18 points, Western Bulldogs. Port Adelaide kicked 4 goals, 9. Hold us a moment. 4 goals, 7, 2, 1 goal, 5. The Dogs should put this game to bed at 3/4 time. And it was only less than 10 points. Not even that. Port Adelaide came hard. They won the second half. 4 goals to 1. And the Dogs, boy, heart-beating victories. The Stacks proves that the Dogs wanted more. They wanted more. They got smashed against the Swans. 12 points against Fremantle, 2 points on the road. There is a way that the Dogs can win games, and they can do it. They have to trust each other, and they did it the hard way. To go to the Adelaide Oval with Port Adelaide getting won by 30 points against Geelong, 1 point loss against in the showdown 59 against the LA Crows. Now 2 point loss against the struggling Western Bulldogs injury side that decided Port Adelaide should won this game and should actually won it. I tipped them. I tipped Port Adelaide. I'm not joking with that. I thought they were going to bounce back and find a way to win. And they got defeated by 2, and that's a heartbreaking loss back to back. And I thought, with the front of their supporters, Port Adelaide, I thought they'll be a lot better. But I thought the Dogs were too strong and too better. So, the overall with the disposal stacks, and somehow the free kids went to Port Adelaide way. We won't go into that favour, but the footy was favoured to the Dogs, and I give them credit. Hit-outs! No, yes, I realise the Dogs don't have a hit-out. Port Adelaide may won the hit-out, but the Dogs won the footy, and that's the biggest thing about this game. Big time. Then marking. Port won the marking over the Dogs. So, by time and a half, the Dogs have a lot more. So, ouch, was that. And then they come to the tackles. 59, Port Adelaide 64. That's pretty even. I would accept that. So, overall, like, the stacks are pretty even, but the centre counters, the total overall was 11 in favour of the Dogs, and Port won lost by 2. Now, it happens. The teams who play 2, Port Adelaide will face, hopefully will bounce back. It won't be easy going to TIO Stadium, which Gold Coast are very good at. They will take on Gold Coast, and the Dogs I mentioned, they will go back to Marble and have a lot of confidence with that win. And I think they can take on Carlton, which Carlton only lost by 11. So both teams will be coming off big losses. Well, technically the Dogs won by 2, but they'll have a little bit more confidence. But it's actually Carlton will need to bounce back. Now I have some learning lesson, and I think they'll do really well. So, now I've done my thoughts and reviews and thoughts and la-di-da-di-da. My next part is my players of the game are the most difficult things in this episode, and ever since. These are not my best on ground, like for the end of the year. These are just thoughts who think play really well. So, for Port Adelaide, domination, unlucky. Mitch Georgiality, he's learning his craft. And he's from Perth, played in the Western Australia for the state origin. So 4.5 goals here, 4.4. He's learning his craft. He's learning his game. He can play the game. He can include 88 for fantasy. He had 5 marks, no tackles, that's okay. For the disposals, a little bit, 19% in defensive, into 81 more in forward half. He's got 9 score involvements. His 6th act on 290 metres game was 120.53 out of that. So he played a full game, but he just could not finish it. So that's unfortunately, do want to share that really think should be the part of the game. Now, the reason why I put him in that mix because He worked hard for it. Kane Fellow, Zach Butters, Leah, he played a mother game. We have Evans, Logan Evans as well, my fourth best. So they are my best five, but I have to give it to Mitchell Gioliti from Port Adelaide. The Dogs, pretty hard to pick, a big victory there. We had the Mont ability. He played his best and got the job done. Connor Barrett is my second best. Ed Richards is my third best on ground. Bailey Dale, well, got some action. He is my fourth best, and you can't go past. He may have a pretty quiet at the office. Aaron Norman, he has had a very good start. He's worked his way into the games. He's my fifth best. But the player of the game, over from Mitch Gioliti, it's the Bond, the captain from Western Bulldogs. 143 offensivity, 1 goal, 30 disposals, 7 marks, 10 tackles. That's how you do it. Almost a triple-double for the Scout 7s in scoring involvements. 24 pressure act, 101-28 on the ground under 120-53, 400 metres game, 19 centre bounce attenders, 7 clearances. 7 clearances, a very good effort there. And 8 inside 50s, I just want to add that. So, overall, even he was sore, he did his job. Well done to Mitch Gioliti. Well done to the captain of Monkers Bond. Well done to the Dogs with a 2-point victory for the second Friday night footy doubleheader. Let's now go to Super Football. Oh, we got some great football games for here. All right, let's go there now for Saturday footy. Okay, Super Saturday footy. We've got 4 games to go into this one. I think this one's going to be the most entertainment one of the round. We go to Marble Stadium between North Melbourne and Sydney Swans. Then we go to ENGIE Stadium in the west of Sydney between the Great Western Sydney, known for GWS, they're known for the Giants, and taking the Essendon Bombers, as known as the Doms. But then we go to TII Stadium for the first Saturday night football between the Gold Coast Suns and St Kilda Saints. And then wrap it up in Geelong and Collingwood MCG. What entertainment games we had for Saturday night footy. So, and then we double header Sunday ticket for Mother's Day. And this is technically Mother's Day round. So, let's go to game number 1 out of 4 for the first Saturday afternoon, Saturday Super Football between North Melbourne and the Sydney Swans. Okay, Super Saturday footy. We've got 4 games to go into this one. I think this one's going to be the most entertainment one of the round. We go to Marble Stadium between North Melbourne and Sydney Swans. Then we go to ENGIE Stadium in the west of Sydney between the Great Western Sydney, known for GWS, they're known for the Giants, and taking the Essendon Bombers, as known as the Doms. But then we go to TII Stadium for the first Saturday night football between the Gold Coast Suns and St Kilda Saints. And then wrap it up in Geelong and Collingwood MCG. What entertainment games we had for Saturday night footy. So, and then we double header Sunday ticket for Mother's Day. And this is technically Mother's Day round. So, let's go to game number 1 out of 4 for the first Saturday afternoon, Saturday Super Football between North Melbourne and the Sydney Swans. We go to the twilight footy game between the mighty Giants and the Bombers. They are my next game. Well done to the Giants, 16-7, 103-13, 11-89. And the Bombers and the Carlton Blues scored the exact scoreline. We do see that pretty often. We're getting straight into this game. Great start to the Giants. They kick 5 goals all in the second half, but the mighty Bombers, they fly into this pretty good effort there. Then they kick 6 goals, 42 for the second half, but it was the 9 goals, 5 for the Giants. They won. They literally put the mighty Bombers to sleep. Now, effort by effort, they were winning at halftime and 3/4 time, and now they can prove they can play 2 out of half of quarters of football, the second and the third, but not the last. But they kick goals. They can only kick 2 goals to 5, and 5 goals to 2 was a better accuracy as well. So the overall all from this is an effort by effort. So I'm going to now share my team stat for this game. Essendon got more pretty overall. It's pretty much even from this game. The next one, I've got to say, hit outs, well done, Bumfoot. Well, the total clearances, they're in the game. They're right in the game. That's how Essendon really got their job done. The next part I want to share is the marking. 104 to the Bombers. Giants 90. And the most important part is the tackling. Essendon won tackling. So it proves to me that not every team can get about 70 tackles. It's between 50 and 60 on average per game. So I will reckon about 52, 53 point and a half per game. But I'm going to say right now for this game, well done to the Giants. Player of the game, top 5 for the Giants. We've got Lockie Wakefield, Finn Cunningham, Connor Oliver, my top 5 out of 3. We got the Toby Green, dominating my fourth bet, and Jack Stringer. But the player of the game, absolute, I think, in my opinion, is Toby Green. From the captain from the Giants. 19-9, 8 for fantasy, 3 goals, 18 disposals, 4 marks, 6 tackles, 45% in the defensive half, 55% in the forward half. We have 6 score involvement, 1 goal assist, over he kicked 4 goals from that. 329 meters game, 18 acts. Percent is very, very high. 99.18 out of 125.03. 17 centre-bounce attenders. 7 clearances. Well done to Toby Green as my Giants best on ground. With the Essendon Bombers, I tough up the office with Amos Roberts, Zach Merritt, Peter Wright. We have Dusty Parish, 4th best, but they at the office can dominate. And very, very good effort there. But as I may mention, Sam Durham as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to give it also to Andrew McGrath if I had not mentioned that name. But Alice Roberts. The Robert continues to dominate. 11 marks, 2 tackles, 42 disposals, 157. 84 density, 20% forward half, 80 all defense work. And that's how he dominated my best on ground. 2 goal assists from 6 score involvement. 700 exactly meters from 103.06 meters. Time on ground, 7 out in the green, and that is my best on grounds. Well done to Toby Green and Alex Roberts from the Essendon Bombers, should be the skipper in my opinion. Alright, that is done with that the ENGIE Stadium. We're going now to the double Saturday night football. Let's go to the first game, which is the Gold Coast Suns and St Kilda, followed by Gold Geelong Cats. Set Geelong Cats take on the Collingwood Magpies. A celebrate milestone for a legend from Collingwood. We'll share that very soon. Alright, let's get to TO Stadium in Darwin. And before we do that, the Giants will play the GWS Giants. We're going to West Coast in Optus Stadium, and the Doms, the Essendon Bombers, will host at the MCG against Fremantle Dockers. All wild cool 2 games they'll be. We'll find out more action. Alright, let's get to the first Saturday night footy in Darwin between the Suns and the Saints. There's a lot of talking about this game, in my opinion. I'm going to shout it right now. So, we have Gold Coast and the mighty St Kilda Saints. Now, there's reasons why I tipped St Kilda. Why? Because I thought they'll be a much better side than over Gold Coast with their performance. But I was absolutely wrong. Not a lot of people tipped St Kilda, but I thought, St Kilda may find a way to win this game, but they got defeated against interesting Gold Coast Suns. 30-11 at same score. Now, guess who scored that same score? I mentioned the bench between the Giants and the Bombers. Guess the other team. Always to say Brisbane and Carlton. Now, tell me right now, and I know who the answer is. We'll share the same number at the end of the game. Have a think. Right now, the winners go 29-point winners to the Gold Coast Suns. As I mentioned, 13-11, 89 Gold Coast, 8-12-60 to the mighty St Kilda Saints. Why did I tip St Kilda? Form, action, beauty. But unfortunately, not meant to be. They came out on fire, St Kilda. They came out. But it was Gold Coast 6-0. 4 behind St Kilda, kick straight, you win game. Then, 1 goal forward, they basically kicked 1 goal, 8 So St Kilda had a chance to beat Gold Coast, but it was Gold Coast Kings 6 goals after full time. 3 goals, 6. So St Kilda got absolutely, basically not heavy defeated there. There's no excuse in life in that. But the disposals should count with Gold Coast 375, 350 to St Kilda. We got to put even in free kick hit out very low, under 30 means you've got 2 very poor ruckmans in the KFL at the moment. Maybe not in best form, but 112 marks to Gold Coast, 97 to St Kilda. So that was pretty 15 overall, pretty high stat, and 41-44 St Kilda leading tackle. So overall, you don't shoot 50 hit-outs in a game, you've got not a very good ruckman, and you've not got a very good midfield. You've got a good midfield, and you can win the footy but not win the hit-out. That proves a lot of efforts there. But right now, I'm going to share my bit detail of this game. And it proves to me that, yes, I could be, why did I tip them? I have no, a lot of ways I have no idea how I tipped St Kilda. 39-point winners over Carlton. I think that's big, massive confidence there. And Gold Coast, really not great accuracy, but they beat Giants by 20. Now, I really thought St Kilda would come out and have a better mindset in this. And both teams come big winners here, big winners. But fortunately, St Kilda failed and Gold Coast got the W. And I'm going to now share the result right here of my player of the games. Just to continue on with the show, we've got 3 more games to share. Gold Coast best on grounds, and we're getting to my players. Noah Anderson, Todd Miller, Joe Nobley. We have Boo High on Land as my 4th best. 1, 2, 3, 4. And just to make a bit of fun, Christian Protractor, but the best on ground is not Anderson. He dominated for a big win here. He may not hit that goals, but that 69% defensive hard to forward, 31%. He had 31 disposals, came up 3 tackles, 115 for fantasy. He also included 577 meters game, 21 centre bounce attenders, 4 clearances. He also include 5 rebound 50s from 5 inside 50s, 10 total of that with a 95-47 on time on ground over 118-20 of his directions. So, well done to Noah Anderson from the Gold Coast Suns. We go to St Kilda. As well as Sam Flanders, the former St Suns player. We have Shugo G-K-A-N. We have Bradley Hill, Jack Sinclair, and really much hard kick. Darcy Wilson can dominate from front of the stick. But the player of the game, I'm actually going to give it to Darcy Wilson. 96 for fantasy, 4 goals, 22 disposals, 4 marks, 3 tackles. He also included of his 57% defensive half, 43% forward half. He includes 77% disposal, 53, includes 6 score involvements, 80% in front of goal, pretty good. 98-34 on ground, 433 mid game, 12 for pressure act, 2 centre bounce attenders and 1 clearance. So, and that 1 solid clearances. So it proves and then 5 overall, 50% of inside 53 times, 2 times of rebound 50. So well done to Darcy Wilson and Noah Anderson as well from the Gold Coast. All right, second Saturday night football. We expected to hopefully have almost 80,000. The 2 old rivals, Geelong and Carl Collingwood. MCG, not down at Geelong. MCG. Let's go now to that game right now. And we have Gold Coast staying down. The will host Port Adelaide Power. St Kilda will tag on Richmond next round. All right, now we're going to go to Geelong and Collingwood at MCG for second Saturday night footy. We also have good rivals and all rivals in the AFL, but this is no one-way of traffic. And I absolutely thought this was going to be a lot closer and most sports think. Geelong and Collingwood do not like it shut on the footy field. This is the best, maybe all-rider of all time. Geelong 18 goals, 14-122, defeated 9-14-68. 54-point winners to Geelong. I did not see the score at all. I did not watch this game at all. But Geelong, sexy Geelong Cats. The second team, yes, LA closing my first. Why Geelong? That sexy football is very good. That's why that's it football, you know. Anyway, I'm making myself laugh right here, and I please don't. But I thought the first quarter, 5 goals to 3, Then it was 2 goals each. But this changed the quarter. Geelong 4 goals, 4 to 4 minus. Then 7 goals to 4. It was all over. At 3/4 time. Did not see this coming at all. And I'm sure there'll be Geelong putting a lot more better confidence than a big win last week. And big win is 49 points to 54 points. And a draw from Collingwood. They went down heavy, I say. Now, how much it's important to win games like this? Big. So Geelong are back. They're back to their best football. They played their football. Collingwood did not. Collingwood just did not show up that third quarter, and they proved me wrong. They won the 40. Well, even disposal rate. You get 400 plus per team. It's 800 plus the overall. The next part is the hit-outs. Collingwood won the hit-out. Pretty much, it was all even all game, but set the hit-outs. So, the next part I want to share. Marking, 100 plus marks. That's 219 marks overall. Next part, tackling. Collingwood made 156-46 in tackles. And they get bumped by 54 points. What's going on with that? But that's okay. It happens. So, a done and done was my stat. Player of the game, Geelong. I can't believe they'd actually done the job. It's Ollie Henry. We have Jack Martin. Sean Noel. Well, I done my goal kicker. Bailey Smith and Mark Holmes. Now, I may miss a few. We got Humphreys from Geelong, but I can't prove a 40 game disposals. Bailey Smith. 127 AFL Anthony, 40 disposals, 6 marks, 2 tackles. He includes 66% in defensive, 34 in the forward half. He also includes 14 score involvements, 3 score involvements. 14 score involvements, 3 score assists. 612 metres game, 23 centre bounce attenders, 6 clearances. Centre clearances 4 times, 2 stoppages. He includes 5 bomb rebound 50s, 6 inside 50s. A big day at the office for Bailey Smith. But I can't go past Collingwood. Jordan Taguchi, Nick Dacos, Jamie Cripps, Scott Pemberberry, and Josh Dacos. I'm going to give it to Scott Pemberberry from Collingwood. 27 disposals, 4 marks, 3 tackles, 1 goal, 100 AFL Anthony. 63% in defensive, 37% forward half. He will also include 4 involvement, 290 metres gained, 12% of act, 104-34 time on ground, 15 centre bounce attenders and 4. 15 times centre bounce attenders, 4 clearances. Well effort from Scott Pemberberry. Hands up, Collingwood. Collingwood will play against Sydney on Mother Test. That's not going to be easy. The way that Collingwood will play against Geelong. Geelong Cats, on the other hand, will play Brisbane, a Mother Test. Both teams are going to be tested against Geelong against the reigning premiers and Collingwood against the favourites for the reigning premiers. So, let's now go to Sunday ticket for Mother's Day football. We got 2 games left. Let's get there now. And well done to all the winners so far. We'll share that very shortly. But Geelong, well done for the biggest win for the round. Here we go. Sunday ticket for Mother's Day football. Well, before we get now into our final 2 games, I hope you much enjoy and thank you so much for listening for another long episode. If you would continue to do, follow wherever you get your podcast. So from the BJ Footy Show, as this is what it's called, or the BJ Show podcast. Alright, Sunday football, we are in Melbourne, only 2 Melbourne teams, not going in the state or anything like that. We're first at Marble Stadium, followed by the Richmond Tigers and the LA Crows. As well, we'll shed all the stadium, the tenders, and then into round 10 as well. The footy, well, how are we going in that? We'll share that very, very soon. Next game we have is the West Coast Eagles. They travel, and it's where the LA Crows are also travel to Melbourne. But we have the Melbourne Demons hosting the West Coast Eagles as the first up. So, final score 59-99, 9-13, 67. That's the final score. 32-point victory to the Melbourne Demons. West Coast only 5 goals. Good effort. So, They're a little bit better there, but unfortunately with Melbourne, they just came out 8 goals to 3 in the first half, and with a mud at 7 goals, 3 to 6 goals, 8. So it was a better half in 3 goals. They kicked the 44 points for the second half over 23. They won 21 points for the second half. It's a very good effort there. Whereas Melbourne, they just keep accuracy at Marble Stadium, not their stadium. They don't play that. They love the MCG St. Tigers, going vice versa. They both hate their Marble Stadium. They're not really home of that. But it was more goals and points for this game. Unfortunately, West Coast did not go their play, but they gave it all. That's important part. But the team stat come more important. They gave it all, West Coast. I'm really proud of them. They gave it all. And the clearances stacked pretty even. But the hitter is really favourite of Melbourne. Next part of this game I want to share is the tackle stats. It's really shown that a team can sit C8 is the most biggest tackles for the round, which is Melbourne. Well done. Have not hit 70 tackles. Who has hit that tackle stat? We'll find out very soon. But I'm going to say right now, efforts from West Coast, only 11-point defeat and then over a much better challenge by 32 points against for Melbourne. Melbourne, on the other hand, 17-point defeat against the best team against a 32-point victory. But it was very similar scoreline of 100 and not even 100. So there's work to do. But Melbourne will be facing Hawthorn, a challenge there for Saturday Twilight Football, and West Coast for Twilight Football, indeed, against the Giants. So, which is another challenge, but I think West Coast will come out. Will come out on top. If they can do that, they can win. So, coming to my game, I'm waiting for is the player, the top 5, starting with Melbourne. Ed Long, we have Bowie, Steele, Guru. That's 4 players. Who's going to be my Matt Scorn? Love the game. For this game, I can't go past, unfortunately, being a bit slow at the moment, but I'm going to give it to Bowie. 26 disposals, 4 marks, 3 tackles, 98 for fantasy, 2 score involvement, 564 meters game, and 2 clearances. Well, Bowie from Melbourne. With the West Coast Eagles perspective, there's a pretty much McCarthy, Kelly, Moore, Dot 3. Next one is Waterman, 4. And I think Yo as my final player. And I'll give him Alan Yo is my player of the game. 20 disposals, 8 tackles, 2 marks, 93 disposals included. 4 score involvements, 18% of pressure, 435 mid game, 93-45 time on ground, 20% about the tenders, and 5 clearances. This is the Alan Yo we are seeing experience proving to show what West Coast Eagles are all about. Heads up, all the best for the Giants, for the Eagles, and the Mighty Demons against the Hawks. Time to fly to the MCG, not far, just across the road, with Richmond and Adelaide Crows. Let's get right now to the final game for Mother's Day round. We always have to have challenges in games, and the LA Crows did it perfectly. I give Richmond that credit. Final score, Richmond 9-7-61, defeated 14-14-98. The LA Crows 37-point victories. It was a hard win, but got the job done. Now I'm going to say right now, before I get quarter by quarter, I'm going to share the team stats. Just to make it a little bit different to wrap things up. We are in our final game. So, the disposal rates, which is exactly 40% plus for Adelaide Crows. The net stat, it is hit out. 37 hit-outs to 19. Richmond did it all. Really deep, very low scoring, low stacks overall. The pressure was up with the LA Crows, but the LA Crows found a way that for, 141 marks. It's the biggest mark. LA is the number 1 mark in the AFL for the round. I don't know about overall, but for the mark. 92 Richmond. So there you go. 62, 38 tackles. Now, I got to say right now, from last round against the Showdown Port Adelaide, 59, to now, and that was going to happen. I realised that. That's a summary. Richmond, first and up. Effort by 10 points. Richmond by 10 points at half time. But something's not right. Only 1 point. Adelaide kicked 4 goals, 4 to 1 point. It wasn't enough because Adelaide kicked 9 goals, 8. 62 to Richmond. 2 goals, 3-15. Not enough to win the game, but lost it in the third. What happened, Richmond? Adelaide. Well done. Big winners here. And I knew this was going to be a bounce, but this was a really good response. A little bit of a message to actually realise, hey guys, we are better than this. We can take control of this game. And they did it in the third quarter. And it showed, where was this? Richmond came with pressure. Now I give that credit part. Now we've done the stats. Oh my goodness, I've done the stats. I'm going to share the player of the games. I can't say too much of this game, but I'll explain each player, Richmond, and why I chose this. First up, it's Jack Ross. Now, can he be the best on ground? We have James Short, Tim Stilerio, my third best. Ben Miller, he's my best one out of 5. Now, if Tom Lynch really showed up in the over 4 quarters, he's been pressured. But Jacob Hobart is my 5th. I'm going to give it to Jack Ross from the Richmond Tigers. Bet 96 AFL fans, 26 disposal, 5 mark, 5 tackles, obviously 58% in defensive half, but 42% forward half. He also included 5 score involvement, a 341 metres game, 18% of act pressure, 104 time on ground. Well done, Jack Ross from the Richmond Tigers. But the LA Crows, Wayne Miller, Isaac Reagan, Jordan Dawson, Brian Cook. That's 4 players I have shown they can play. That's 4. But who was the last one? I'm going to give it to, it's pretty hard to choose, Alex Bullen. He played very well. And I'm going to give it to Isaac Reagan. 10 marks, 9 tackles, 162 for fantasy, 33 disposals, and that 1 goal. What else? 50-50 from defensive and forward. So he played everywhere. 73% disposable efficiency from 10 contested possessions. 8 score involvement. 6 84 metres game. 13% act on pressure. 98-58 time on ground at 115-54. 20 centre bounce attempts. 4 clearances. 3 of them were stoppages. As well, 18 sub-50s, 2 rebounds. Isaac Reagan, well done on your best performance. Keep it going, mate. You're a star. Richmond, heads up. You will be on another challenge, Rose. And this is a good response, proving each week. St Kilda, Marble Stadium, across from the MCG. With the LA Crows, North Melbourne, wow. Don't go against North Melbourne. They have come to play. They can play against the LA Crows. LA have to start well. The LA Crows start well. We're alright. Alright. That's it. The round is complete. I hope you enjoyed so far. Wait, there's more. I'm just going to give a preview of the crowd attenders and then into round 10 reviews. Alright, crowd attenders, here it is. Okie dokie, now we're done all round 9 previews. What's some entertainment here? We were not done just quite yet. We're now going into my crowd attendance a little bit different this time. We have not done it at all. Ever first time, I'm just doing all crowd attendance in one hit. First game was the Fremantle Dockers and the Hawthorn Hawks. A pretty good crowd attendance of 54,140. So we have a double header. And we go to Brisbane Lions and the Carlton Blues. We had a 31,147 at the Gutter. Adelaide Oval, we had 33,883 for the Port Adelaide and Western Bulldogs. We had 4 games on schedule for the Saturday football. The first one at Marble Stadium out of 2 games for the round. First up was North Melbourne Sydney Swans, 28,156. Very good effort there. Then we go to ENGIE Stadium in Western Sydney between GWS Giants and Essendon Bombers. The crowd attendance 9,416. 2 double Saturday night football. The first is at TIO Stadium for Gold Coast Suns and the St Kilda Saints. Crowd attendance was 10,672. The second Saturday night at the MCG, the only MCG game for the round. Well, maybe we have another game. We do. First one out of those 2 was Geelong and Collingwood. Crowd attendance 83,166. Then we had the Melbourne West Coast yet to announce their crowd attendance. I do apologise for that. I reckon it was between 25,000 30 for that. And the last game was Richmond and Adelaide, 22,001 to 123, which is very, very not great for a MCG game. Well, that's it. We're done. The round 10 previews. Here we come. Round 10, here we go. We have Thursday night footy. We have Brisbane and Geelong go head to head. I'm going to say it was Brisbane, and they're going to win by 25 points. Friday night footy here. We got Sydney and Collingwood, one that maybe going to be the entertainment of the round. And I'm going to say with Sydney, and they're going to win by a very similar margin. I'm going to say 23 points. Gold Coast and Port Adelaide, we have a double header. We do. Not fan of those, and I say not fan. But we do have Friday night football and Darwin. That's great to see, but it's Gold Coast and Port Adelaide. I'm going to really make it Gold Coast to win this game by, let's say number of 28 points. Adelaide North Melbourne really tight in the taming. It's going to be close. It's going to be 15 points. The LA Coast to win. Melbourne Hawthorn MCG. And we got back there. Oh my goodness, this is going to be interesting. I think Melbourne and Hawthorn, I'm going to stay with Hawthorn with this game. I think it's going to be, I think Melbourne will come. They've got that crowd. They really do play well at MCG Melbourne at this phase of the season. Hawthorn by 20 points. This is going to be the interesting, maybe not as entertainment I expect. Carlton Bulldogs, Western Bulldogs to win this by 8 points. And we finish up with 3 games of the round. Essendon and Fremantle back at my MCG once again. Fremantle Dockers by, I'm going to be nasty here, 40 points. Yeah, MCG. Next one, St Kilda and Richmond. St Kilda should bounce back. Richmond's not favourite stadium, not the favourite. St Kilda by 10 points. To make it in 10 points, I'm going to say 25 points. Final game, West Coast Eagles, GWS Giants at the stadium. Tough decision. Giants in a tight battle by 15 points. Wrap it up with Brisbane, Sydney, Gold Coast, Adelaide, Hawthorn, Western Bulldogs, Fremantle, St Kilda, Giants of GWS. It's now time to share my thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. I'm now going to share my footy tipping competition. Alright, it's time to share my footy tipping. And this is the first time I'm actually going to be doing this now to the rest of the 2026 AFL-26 season. If you're new, welcome aboard. This is going to be added to the rest of the remaining of the season and etc. So you can see that I didn't do great. So if you know how many 89s there is, if you listen to the podcast of this episode, you'll know what I mean later in the show. So, right now. So, 89, right there on the screen, Vargett, Fremantle, Brisbane. Then I've got Port Adelaide. Unfortunately, Sydney Swans, that's a bit too strong efforts to North Melbourne. Well, Giants should won a little bit better than this, but a nice win there. I thought there'll be a big upset that St Kilda do well, but Gold Coast too strong. Geelong were far too good over Collingwood. Melbourne just taking business over West Coast, and Adelaide challenged but took the job done. So into my round 10, and I've got some update. I'm going to show my live ladder in a minute. So you can see on your screen, Brisbane I've gone for. Sydney should take care with Gold Coast, Adelaide, Hawthorn, Western Bulldogs, Fremantle, St Kilda, and GWS. Now we come into the ladder. The ladder I've been waiting for to share for so long. You can see on your screen we have Alex Lynn, Alex 12 number 23 there. Zoe Labradoodle is Diet J. We have Buzz Dog 888 Aiden. We have Melissa H. Crows Lover 1989. We have Port Fan 1988 Andrew C. Benjamin H. We have Fitch Gladder Darren. We have the BJ Show, that's me, Ben J. We have Bear Aston N. We have TK Trevor K. Tank Kookaburras 9 Jim T. And we got Queen Liz 28 Elizabeth C. So there you have it, lads and ladies, and everyone who's supported my video show. This is the first time So it's pretty close. You can see what the margin have gone put down on right here on your screen. And oh my goodness, it makes a big difference. And I don't know what's going to happen. I really am hoping this will be a better improve for me. Not great, but the top two, you can see right on screen. If I can highlight, there we go there. And 9 got exactly 9 out of 9. We've got a couple of 8s down to 1 7 and the rest of 6s. So it's unfortunately, it is what it is, but hopefully we'll get a better round. So what do you think? Here and there are my thoughts from the footy tipping competition from the BJ show. All right, on with the thoughts. Well, that's it. My thoughts are done. They're booked in. Well, with all the latest of the BJ show footy tipping competition, hope you and all my footy tips, you can see what I do on the afl.com.au footy tipping competition there, where I do all my AFL Australian Football League footy tipping. Well, that's it. That we are all done. I hope you enjoy. If you like this, make sure you give this a follow wherever you get your podcast. That's YouTube and Spotify and Apple Podcasts. As well, giving this an awesome like and hit that like down below with a notification. You don't want to miss another good fun video. All right, that's all, folks, and we'll see you next week. BJ shows out. Bye for now. Peace.